In this scene, Vanessa is shown in a vulnerable position that many people, regardless of orientation, can relate to, struggling with technology while simultaneously grappling with embarrassment about what that technology reveals about personal habits. Her frustration over her malfunctioning laptop establishes a very human entry point into the situation, something that anyone who has ever dealt with computer problems can empathize with. Anna's role as the helpful, competent roommate who is comfortable navigating technical issues provides both a practical solution to the problem and a narrative device for exposing Vanessa's private life. When Anna discovers that the laptop is riddled with viruses from unsafe adult sites, the situation becomes more layered because it immediately ties Vanessa's technical problem to her sexual identity, her viewing habits, and her relationship with Anna. Vanessa's embarrassment is central here, and it speaks to broader themes within LGBTQ culture about shame, secrecy, and the way technology often becomes a medium for exploration of identity, especially when someone is unsure how to navigate their feelings in the real world. Anna's response, however, softens the moment. Instead of ridiculing or harshly judging Vanessa, she helps to fix the laptop, giving both a literal and metaphorical repair. She restores the machine to working order while also offering reassurance and guidance gently, nudging Vanessa toward healthier, safer practices both online and perhaps in her personal life. When Anna observes that the videos Vanessa had been watching feature women who look like her, the scene pivots from being purely comedic or technical to being about intimacy, desire, and confession. Vanessa's admission that she finds Anna attractive resonates with common experiences within queer narratives, where desire for someone close by, such as a friend or roommate, becomes the first step towards self-disclosure. This mirrors countless real-world LGBTQ stories where people realize their feelings for someone within their circle, but feel conflicted about how to articulate them. The scene also highlights the role of digital spaces in the process of self-discovery for LGBTQ individuals. Historically, mainstream society has not always provided safe or affirming places for queer people to explore desire. The internet became a primary site where individuals could explore their attractions in private, but this exploration was often fraught with risk, not just from malicious software but also from internalized shame or external judgment if their browsing habits were revealed. Vanessa's reliance on unsafe websites can be read symbolically. She is pursuing desire in a way that is risky and unprotected, which reflects how closeted or questioning individuals sometimes pursue identity exploration in precarious or unhealthy ways. Anna's suggestion to stick with legitimate sites can therefore be seen as more than just computer advice. It's also encouragement to approach her desires in a healthier, more authentic, and more self-respecting way. The fact that the content Vanessa had been consuming reminded Anna of herself further underscores the blurred line between fantasy and reality in LGBTQ exploration. For many people, attraction to someone they know can be the catalyst for recognizing their orientation. In queer culture, this kind of moment is frequently portrayed in coming-of-age narratives, where someone realizes that their feelings for a friend are more than platonic. This theme ties into the broader cultural experience of queer individuals who often discover attraction gradually, sometimes first by recognizing patterns in media consumption before realizing how those patterns align with real people in their lives. Vanessa's admission of attraction signals an important step toward honesty, both with herself and with Anna. It is also a moment that encapsulates the tension between fear of rejection and the liberation of self-expression, which has been a cornerstone of LGBTQ storytelling for decades. The interplay between shame and acceptance is critical here. Queer individuals throughout history have faced stigma that leads them to hide or feel ashamed of their desires. Vanessa's initial embarrassment when Anna discovers the nature of the viruses reflects this dynamic. She is afraid of judgment, yet the revelation becomes an opportunity for dialogue. Anna's supportive role demonstrates what affirming relationships can look like within queer culture. When one person reacts not with hostility but with understanding, it allows for growth, honesty, and deeper connection. This reflects the way chosen families and supportive communities within LGBTQ culture have historically provided acceptance where mainstream society often failed to. The humor embedded in the situation, viruses from bad sites, the awkwardness of being caught, the recognition that the videos resemble Anna, aligns with the queer tradition of using comedy to navigate serious or potentially shameful subjects. LGBTQ culture has long employed humor as a survival mechanism, a way of transforming potentially painful revelations into moments of levity and bonding. The scene itself embodies this pattern, as what begins as an embarrassing and potentially devastating exposure evolves into something meaningful, tender, and even funny. Moreover, the scene reflects how LGBTQ narratives are increasingly normalized in contemporary media, where older depictions might have cast Vanessa's attraction as taboo or treated her viewing habits as grounds for ridicule. This scene frames it in a lighthearted, human, and affirming way. It portrays queerness not as scandalous but as a natural part of human experience, worthy of empathy rather than mockery. This reflects broader cultural shifts toward visibility and acceptance. Another important dimension of the scene is the way it juxtaposes technology with identity. For LGBTQ individuals, technology has historically been both a risk and a lifeline. In earlier eras, online chat rooms, forums, and video sites were some of the only accessible spaces for queer exploration, though they carried dangers of exposure, stigma, or harm. Vanessa's computer riddled with viruses symbolizes these risks, while Anna's ability to fix. It represents the possibility of navigating those spaces more safely and responsibly. Anna becomes a guide not just for technology, but for navigating the boundaries of self-expression. In this way, the scene mirrors the generational or experiential divide that often exists in LGBTQ communities, where one person with more confidence, knowledge, or acceptance helps another move toward greater self-understanding. Vanessa's confession of attraction could also be read as a subtle critique of the ways queer desire is often mediated through consumption before it can be expressed directly. Instead of being able to openly acknowledge her attraction to Anna in real life, Vanessa turned to mediated, anonymous portrayals online. This reflects the cultural reality that queer individuals often feel safer engaging desire through media before they have the courage or opportunity to express it in interpersonal relationships. The progression from digital fantasy to spoken confession captures the trajectory many LGBTQ individuals experience as they move from internal or private exploration to outward acknowledgement and honesty. Connecting this scene to LGBTQ culture also invites consideration of representation. By framing Vanessa's feelings in a sympathetic, comedic, and ultimately positive light, the scene adds to the body of media that normalizes queer experiences. Representation of queerness in casual, everyday contexts, such as roommates fixing laptops and teasing each other, helps dismantle stereotypes that frame LGBTQ identities only in terms of tragedy or spectacle. Instead, it situates queerness in the ordinary, making it more relatable and human. The specific dynamic between Vanessa and Anna, one embarrassed, one supportive, also reflects a recurring motif in queer culture where friendship becomes the testing ground for romantic or sexual revelation. This blurring of boundaries between friendship and attraction is common in LGBTQ narratives because historically, queer individuals often first recognize their orientation in relation to people who are already close to them. The roommate relationship is an especially potent metaphor here. Roommates share domestic spaces, blur boundaries of intimacy, and often become stand-ins for family, which creates fertile ground for self-realization and confession. The scene ultimately functions as both a comedy of errors and a small-scale coming-out moment. Vanessa may not explicitly label herself, but by admitting attraction to Anna, she is signaling a truth about her orientation that had previously been concealed. This small act reflects the micro-moments of coming out that LGBTQ individuals repeatedly experience, not just once, but in many contexts across their lives. The embarrassment that accompanies it mirrors the lingering social stigma around queerness, but Anna's acceptance demonstrates the cultural progress toward normalization and affirmation. Thematically, the laptop becomes a metaphor for Vanessa's inner world, cluttered with hidden viruses of shame and secrecy, yet capable of being repaired and cleaned with the right support. Anna's technical intervention parallels her emotional support, suggesting that with honesty, trust, and guidance, Vanessa can move toward a healthier relationship with her desires and with herself. This metaphor ties neatly into LGBTQ culture, where the process of self-discovery and disclosure is often messy, complicated, and filled with setbacks, but ultimately repairable and transformative when met with compassion. By weaving humor, vulnerability, technology, and intimacy together, the scene speaks to the universal human experience of grappling with hidden desires while situating it within a distinctly queer framework. It affirms that queerness can be messy, funny, embarrassing, and deeply human all at once, and that moments of exposure, though difficult, can become opportunities for connection and growth when met with understanding. It is precisely in these small, awkward, everyday interactions that LGBTQ culture continues to find resonance, illustrating how identity is negotiated, not just in grand gestures or declarations, but in the quiet, funny, and honest confessions that happen between friends behind closed